This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you by the Daily Herald.
We are here at Naperville North High School with head coach of the girls basketball team, Jason Dycus. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So first thing I want to start with is the DVC in general, just tough competition, kind of game in and game out. Can you kind of talk about that?
Well, I think our league every year in, year out, has parity. But I think even this year, it's tougher. We've got some top-heavy teams with Naperville Central, Wheaton North, and Wheaton South. And then I think the rest of us are kind of fighting for that fourth spot right now. So our girls are well aware of where we're at, and we know what's in front of us, and we're going to go after it and do what we have to do to go attain it.
And with the changes coming in the DVC in the next year or two, what's your opinion on that?
Well, it kind of is what it is. I think as a coach, I have to deal with whatever comes my way. I try to teach the student athletes to operate in that manner, so I certainly will operate that way. However it shakes out is what we'll deal with at the time, and we'll try to make the best of it.
And you talked about, you guys know where you're at right now in the conference. Were there goals that you set early in the year for what you want to accomplish by the end of the year?
Yeah, I asked the girls to set some individual goals as well as team goals. I think those goals are constantly evolving. And I think it's okay to reestablish goals as the season goes on. Some girls, quite honestly, have met their individual goals, while others have not. And I think as a leader of a group, we just want to make sure that we're playing together. We're having some enjoyment with what we're doing and go from there.
And when you talk about the girls that already have met their individual goals, how do you keep them not so much motivated, but focus on other stuff, just if their goals are already accomplished?
Well, I think even though you want them to have some individual goals, everything falls under the umbrella of team, and especially in my program. I mean, we play for one another, and nobody's bigger than a team. I will pick up a water bottle if it needs to be picked up on the bench, and anybody else should do the same. So we kind of want that workwomanship type attitude in our program.
So when you first came in, you had Kayla Sharples, and since then, I know it's been a couple years removed, but did you change your offense when she left? Is it the same offense as you ran then? Was it more around her, or how's that kind of evolved?
I tweaked it a little bit because I knew we had a 6'4" girl and Sadie Yurkovic coming in, and I think it's important to understand who you're coaching, and you have to coach to that talent and ability. And it's not like we're college where we're recruiting our players. We kind of get what we get. So I had to run an offense that's going to be suited for Sadie as well as our perimeter girls. So you see us running a 4-out, 1-in quite often. What's
that like, having a 6'4" presence in the middle on defense? Do you try to get the team to go to her because she's such a good shot blocker inside?
Absolutely, yeah. And she's really helped us out, and particularly the last 6 games, Sadie has played really, really, really well, especially defensively and rebounding, but she's scoring for us as well. So she's really coming into her own, and it's good to see.
You have a young team here, especially on the varsity, obviously sophomore level doing well too, but young team, what is that like for you as a coach, knowing that even if you are successful this year, it's not just this year, you got more to come?
That's exciting, and we knew coming into the year we were going to be young, and we knew we were going to take some lumps along the way, but it's how we handle that and how we respond that is really the important lesson learned. I think we have improved. I know we played Wheaton North to a 4-point game with a minute and a half to go last week, and I know Dave Eaton, what a great guy, and I'm happy for their season. It kind of showed that we have the ability to play with the best teams in the conference when we want to.
What's the attitude like in a game after that, where you didn't come out with the win, but you competed with if not the top team in the conference? They didn't win, but were they still very positive afterwards?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think our freshmen in particular are starting to grow up, and even our sophomores are starting to grow up. And at one point, the other night, I had 3 freshmen on the floor with Nikki, Kara, and Jada. So we are young. We look young at times. The goal is to be young and look veteran, and so that's what we're working towards.
Now, with a young team, what do you expect out of your seniors in the terms of leadership? Is it more vocal or by example?
I think both. I think mainly by example, and they have done a very good job of that. They really have. Cammie Morgan, Sarah, and Chloe. I think the girls respect them. I know they do. And they lead our stretches every day. They lead our off-season workouts. They grind it out in games. And you can see when we need a bucket, they're there.
Yeah. And the off-season stuff, obviously you can't be involved in that, so it's nice to have the senior leadership for that.
Right, yeah, we can't be involved at all, and nor am I. But it's just, even if it's in the weight room or whatever, they're the ones leading the way.
Now you guys are getting closer to postseason play, not quite there, but the sectional seedings are getting close to release. Are you focusing your team on trying to get as many wins as possible before then, because the sectional can be so tough?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we've had years. I mean, you brought up Kayla's year. We played Bennett Academy to a 2-point game in the regional championship game. We were this close, and that was their first state championship year. Your seed is pretty important, and where you land, and so every coach, I think this time of year, is working for a seed, and there's no secret there.
And is it not just you? Are they fully aware of that as well, the players?
Oh, yeah, they've heard me. They've heard Coach Dycus talk about that. And
now moving forward, you had a good win yesterday, I guess, against Wabanzi. Now, towards the end of the year here, is there anything different in practice? I saw you work on some defensive stuff with the hands behind the back. What have you guys had to work so hard, or work hardest at throughout the year to get better at?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up our shell drill. I did it with making sure we had no hands on the offensive players. That way we're not lunging, we're not reaching, we're playing fundamentally sound. I made sure the hands were behind the back, so we're moving our feet, playing containment defense and sprinting to help line position, because especially late in the year, it's not about how long you go in practice, it's the value that you have built within your practice. And so I tend to shorten our practices rather, the later the season goes, but I make sure we're pretty detail oriented in what we're going to accomplish.
Now about this team, as opposed to, it could be last year or your previous couple teams, what makes this team unique than the other ones?
I think this team is a little bit unique because of your former question and how we're kind of blended with youth and a little bit of veterans. We don't have a lot. I mean, we had 7 seniors last year that departed. This year we only have 4. And I think that's made it somewhat unique to develop some team chemistry, and I think we're there. It's just a matter of making sure we're being the star of our role now and stepping up with each and every game, because the DVC is a tough conference.
And the last question I want, it could be in your 4 years here at North, or just any basketball memory. What's your favorite basketball memory you've had?
My favorite basketball memory is probably sectional championship game when I was coaching with Mark Lindo with the boys, and we played Downer South at East Aurora High School in the sectional championship game. It's a packed house, historic gym. That was a fun night. I've had many good memories here. I've enjoyed my time on the boys' side as well as girls. But to answer your question, that was probably my best basketball memory.
Well, best of luck. Hopefully you get the seed you want, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.